This video is part of Lesson 7 in the course Christian Marriage and Family. In this video, how can the church support wise choices?
The Christian faith is not just about believing the right doctrine or defending the truth, but very much about making the right decisions in daily life. Choices that may have far-reaching consequences. How does the church help believers reach such good decisions? One pastor from South America shared this story with me. One day, a lady came to church with a boy and a girl, and after the service, she came to him and explained her story, her situation. She needed some help. The husband she had been married to had betrayed her and lied to her when she first got married to him. At that time, he already had wife and children, but he hid that from her. She decided to leave him and live by herself with the children. As a church, we came alongside and we stood with her, supporting her where needed. She was a woman who feared God and wanted to live by the decisions that she made. And as a church, we were ready to stand by her side, no matter how long it would take. In situations like this, the church supports the believer not only with food and clothing or school fees, but most importantly supports the believer reaching the right decision. Because sometimes it's not so simple to decide what to do, especially when it concerns our culture or family customs. It's not so clear-cut what is the right way to proceed. How can the church help believers to reach the right decision and support the believer and stand by him or her all the way? Well, here I present 3 guidelines for the church to support good decisions. First of all, together we must consider the dilemma. Consider what kind of dilemma we are in. Because not every difficulty is a situation of God or the devil, absolutely right or absolutely wrong. Paul mentions situations in his letters where there is liberty about eating and drinking, about keeping certain days. He sometimes chose to comply with Jewish culture, and other times he chose to challenge that culture. In other words, find out what biblical commandments are at stake and try to be as honest as possible, because we are biased often due to the culture that we are part of. It should not just depend on what we like or what people say, but based on biblical arguments. And there is wisdom in the multitude of counselors. Believers together may come to a better understanding. Secondly, we support right choices by considering the consequences of your position. And that is really a test case for your decision. Are you prepared to stand by that decision even when it takes longer? In the example of the betrayed mother, you cannot support her for several years and then suddenly say, "We stop supporting you, you return to your husband. We are tired of helping you." If it is a matter worth suffering for now, it still will be tomorrow and in the future. So consider what a decision means in the long term. And thirdly, all the while we must consider each other. Believers are still led to different conclusions, different choices in similar situations. Let us be slow to judge each other. For example, a brother is sincerely seeking to honor God while also struggling with homosexual feelings. A believer is unable to continue within a marriage and accepts divorce. A church member continues in a certain job that others feel a Christian cannot do. We must consider each other, count each other more important than ourselves. We should not sin by passing harsh judgments while we are actually trying to avoid sin. We don't want to focus so much on another person's sin that we actually fail to invite the sinner to come to Jesus. So as a church, we support making right decisions. And of course, this cannot go without prayer. So as a church leader, you encourage that believer to find his way, to find her way, all the way praying to God for guidance. And as a church leader yourself, you personally want to be prayerful about the advice and counsel you give. We read a prayer like that in Psalm 139, verse 1 through 4. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. Whenever we are pressed to make a difficult decision, we turn to God. We open ourselves up before the Lord, trusting that God knows us. He knows where you live, where you stay, whether you do have a place to stay or not at all. Praying to God, coming close to God in prayer, calms our hearts. We find comfort in the love of God Himself. He knows me. He wants to know me. He is interested in my situation. So we encourage believers to pray. The end of this prayer in Psalm 139, we read verse 23 and 24. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any grievous way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. God probes the depths of our desires and our wishes. We want God to take a look inside and stop us if we follow the wrong thinking and the wrong reasoning. We ask God in this psalm to stop us from taking the wrong direction, to even protect us from ourselves, trusting that God directs our path. And we pray with an open mind, curious where He is leading us. What I don't see yet, but God already knows. We pray that God would make us aware if our thinking, if our decisions take the wrong turn. We pray to stay focused on the everlasting way, not just on the way that we want now. So with this prayerful attitude, the church supports believers to make right choices. Considering the kind of dilemma you are in, what is the biblical foundation that we are talking about? Considering the consequences for now and in the future, for the individual and for the church. And all the while, considering each other as believers to live in Christian freedom and Christian love.
You have been watching the video, How can a church support wise choices in the course Christian Marriage and Family? This video was the last one in the course. May God bless this course in your personal life, congregation or ministry.